Okay, you guys are getting a little crazy here.
Right, that was a disaster.
That was an absolute disaster.
Come on.
You're looking a little blurry, Brie. There it goes.
All right. Technical difficulties. Cody!
Was it Cody? Is it Cody?
Yeah. We have a new tech guy, guys.
We do. His name is Cody.
But also we don't.
Yes, we do. Stop lying.
Agent Cody Banks.
Cody has bangs.
Banks.
Cody Banks.
Yeah. You remember Cody Banks? Agent Cody Banks?
yeah.
Frank Muniz?
Yeah.
Hillary Duff. God, I love her. She's such an amazing person.
Yeah, she is. Why are they both right here? Like,
I don't know. They're being hella annoying, it looks like. I'm glad they're over on your side.
For now.
For now. Yeah.
What are you eating? Jesse's eating his hair. They're both staring at me for some. They keep looking at me like I have something.
Have treats?
Do you have treats, mother? Mother dearest?
No more wired hangers, mommy dearest. So we...
I still can't see you. I don't like it.
Rearranged the studio a little bit. I can see you. It's just your eyes I can't see. You're such beautiful eyes. I can't see them.
Hold
you
on.
can move over slightly. Here, I'll scooch over just a hair. Just a hair. I scooched over a little bit. That works. This is why we need a tech guy. We really just need someone here that's like with us.
We need someone to hold our hands.
Yes. Please come hold our hand, someone. So we cleaned up the studio. We're having family bonding night with each other. We're gonna hang out.
Yeah.
But we have to record first, so
We get to record.
First. I'm excited to tell you my story. Oh, cactus.
Okay.
So I've been meaning to tell you this for weeks. So have you seen the cactus that's in my window where my dishes are?
Yes.
It's a real cactus.
Yeah.
So I was talking to my sister about it the other day because we were talking about plants, or actually it was like weeks ago. And I was like, my plants inside are doing so good. I was like, I hardly even water them. I always forget to water them. I was like, I probably water them like every 2 or 3 months.
What?
And they do so good. Like that cactus does so well. And I was like, yeah, it even has a purple flower on it thing. And I was like, as I'm telling her, I'm looking at it and I'm like, wait a second. And she's like, what? And I was like, everything has been a lie. And she's like, what? And I was like, everything is a lie. And I pulled out the cactus and there's hot glue on the flower. It's a fake flower.
Yeah.
But the cactus is real. But now all I see is because I slightly turned it into now you can actually see the hot glue glisten.
Oh no.
And I guess I just had it at an angle where just the flower was seen. And so this whole time I thought I had this perfectly bloomed flower that never died and never wilted or anything on my cactus. But no, it's lies.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's weird that they would hot glue.
I think it's common because people will hot glue googly eyes. Oh, googly eyes would be awesome on my cactus.
That would be cute.
It could have real personality.
Have you seen those ones that they're magnets of googly eyes? You can do it on each side of the plant.
Oh my gosh. I need this in my life. I don't even have a name for my cactus. My other ones have names.
Yeah. That's
weird.
You should call it cacti. Cacti. CACTIE. Cacti.
I could call it Sparky or Spike.
Spike. That's
Spike from
original.
Buffy.
I like it. Yeah.
It's cool.
Did I ever tell you, were we friends when I realized that I had a fake plant and I kept watering it?
No.
I ended up taking it apart, it was on top of something, and I took it out of the pot and it was hot glued to the bottom. Like a freaking moron.
My stepmom has this tomato plant in her house, and it looks really real. And a lot of times when she has new people come over, she'll say, "Do you mind putting some water in that plant for me?" I've done it. I'm pretty sure she's gotten me twice. I don't even know how she got me the second time. I'm just a moron.
Yeah.
But that's something that she does. She'll ask people to water her plant. It's a fake plant. It's pretty good. It's cute.
A friend of mine on Facebook, she posted that today. Actually, she said, this plant that she's had for like years and years and years, and it's always been like super healthy, suddenly just like up and died. And she's like, it's so weird that it did that. And then she caught her 2-year-old. I think she's 2, or maybe she just turned 1. Putting Gatorade, watering it with Gatorade.
Oh no!
And she's like, well, that would be the reason why.
Oh no! Oh,
Eep.
science fair project me back in like high school would have been like, I should test this because that was one of my science fair projects, was to water plants with different things. But really, I just did it like the week before. We had like months to prepare, and I just did it like the week before. And I was like, quick, water it with some coffee, water it with some milk, and then do one with water. They all did fine.
They all did fine.
Yeah, because it was only a week.
Oh.
It's a very bad project.
I have a question for you.
Shoot.
All right. If you could invite 3 people to dinner, living or dead, who would you invite?
Like anyone in the world?
Anyone.
My pop and my great pop.
Oh.
Man, that's hard. Chris Pratt.
Of course. What an awkward conversation that would be.
Oh, no. They would totally get along with him.
Would they?
He has very similar views because he's very, down to earth and, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. They would totally. I'm sure they would get along. I know my pop would. I never knew my great pop, but I've heard he's awesome. He sounded really cool.
Yeah.
But I love my pop. He was awesome.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Aww.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
What's your favorite corny joke?
Corny joke?
Yep.
Okay. So there were.
You have one like right off.
Off my back.
So do I. It's okay.
Okay. So there were 3 olives rolling on the table.
Okay.
And one fell off. And the one on the table, one of the ones on the table leaned over and they said, "Oh, you're right." And the one on the ground looked up and said, "Yes, olive."
That's cute. It's like my joke. What did the fish say after running into the concrete wall?
What?
Damn!
I love that. That was a good one.
For our listeners, even though y'all don't like answering my questions, that's okay.
I answer.
We gotta get people on board. Y'all gotta get rolling. I'll start posting on the Facebook page as well. So I was making ramen today for my 2-year-old because ramen's the bomb.
Bomb.com.
Just like your basic, college ramen.
Yeah. You don't put anything special in it?
She likes cheese in it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She likes cheese in it now.
Guys, if you want a cheap hack for spicing up your 25-cent ramen, it's probably like 50 cents now.
Yeah.
Put a slice of American cheese inside your noodles.
Yeah. I thought Amy was ridiculous.
Hello. She's on vacation. Yeah. When she gets back, you guys can do a sleepover, okay? All right, bye.
Is your phone at your house? I stupidly grabbed it.
There's nothing behind there. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, that I thought you were crazy for saying that, and I thought that sounded disgusting because cheese and it just doesn't sound right.
No,
to me.
it doesn't.
But I finally tried it like a month. You told me this months and months ago, And I finally tried it like a month ago, and I was like, well, hot damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And my kids like it.
You don't taste the cheese, but it makes
No.
it creamier.
But I mean, like, although I don't mind tasting the cheese, I added
Sure.
extra cheese to Natalie's because Natalie likes a little extra cheese.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cheese in your ramen, guys. Amy's a genius.
Didn't you tell me peanut butter in your ramen too?
Nope, peanut butter on your hot dogs.
Peanut butter in your hot dogs.
That's the only way I eat my hot dogs.
I think Rick's old coworker told him about peanut butter, like a little spoonful of peanut butter in your ramen makes it taste yummy too.
Ooh, like Thai. Probably like
Yeah,
Thai
yeah.
noodles because, like, pad Thai, they
Yeah.
put peanut butter and everything.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, what is your go-to ramen flavor, guys? Did I already say that?
No, you
No, I
didn't.
did not. That's my question. What is your go-to ramen flavor? Because
What is
there's, like,
yours?
a bunch. I'm super basic. I like the
Chicken.
chicken. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like chicken
Me
ramen.
too.
I also like beef. I have never tried shrimp. I want to, but, like, we don't have a grocery store around here that sells, like, them one at, like,
Individually?
yeah. Do we? I know
don't-
they sell the big boxes of them, which is super cheap.
I don't think they do.
But yeah, like, I remember back home, like, they would have
Yeah.
the grocery stores and you could just buy whatever flavors you
Yeah,
want. They should have, like, a build
Foods.
your ramen box and let you buy, like, a bunch
Oh,
of them to build a box, like they do with, like, beer at some stores.
Yeah. Oh,
Build
that's
your
smart.
ramen box. But I've heard the shrimp one's good. I've heard the spicy one's good. They've got, like, flavors of ramen, Oreo
Yeah.
flavored ramen.
Ew.
Not really.
Okay. I was like, what the heck? Rick
We need to
loves
question. We already need to question society.
Rick loves all of those flavors. He'll eat any of them.
I love ramen.
Yeah, me too. Oh, me too.
So good. I
So
grew
good.
up on a lot of ramen.
And you can really like spice it up. So
Yeah.
like I put I normally don't do the cheese unless we have Kraft American
Yeah.
cheese because we normally don't have it. But I'll put onion powder, garlic powder in it, and then obviously butter, and then I will put a little bit of hoisin sauce in it,
Ooh.
a soft boiled egg.
Mhm.
So good.
I like that TikTok ramen
Yeah, the TikTok ramen
with the
is
brown
good.
sugar and the soy sauce
Yeah.
and the
Oh, I do
red
soy
pepper
sauce too.
flakes.
Yeah.
And the egg. Oh man,
Yeah.
so good. There's another one in my TikTok cooking book that has like cream in it. It's like got like heavy cream in it and
Ooh.
sriracha. It's
Do you
really
use
good.
the normal the top ramen noodles? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kylie Jenner came out with like years ago. She talked about how she spices up her top ramen, and Rick got real upset because he's like, I did. That's my recipe. Like, I came up with that. And she was like getting her. I was like, I'm pretty sure Kylie Jenner doesn't spy on you in the kitchen.
Yeah, you just both happen to have the same genius ideas.
Yeah.
Calm down.
But yeah, anyways.
What does
so-
she do?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
But he's like, that was something that he did. And now he's learned like you can do more than just what he
Yeah,
was doing.
You can add so much to your ramen.
I know. It's so good.
How do you eat your ramen, guys? Or what's your go-to ramen?
And Alice only will eat her ramen with chopsticks.
Of course.
She's cool like that.
She
She's
is
bougie.
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Super,
Do you have a neighborhood story for me?
super American
Very American.
Asian food. Yes, I do. All right. It says, it's a note. And it says, Dear Hagrid, I understand you're half giant, but could you try to be a little more light-footed? P.S. If you're not Hagrid, stop fucking stomping around. It's pissing me off. Sincerely, Harry Potter, apartment under the stairs.
Aw, Bree, that's so up your alley.
I saw that. I was like, oh, that's my story tonight. Cute.
Aw.
Cute. So,
That's cute.
do you have a story?
I do have a
somewhere?
story. It's not scary. It's not murdery.
Good, because mine's really scary.
Oh. Okay. Mine is not murdery. And people did die. I had to read like 19 chapter book,
Oh my gosh.
multiple podcasts, and
Was
so-
it like a paper book or was it like an Audible?
I'm not gonna lie, it's an Audible.
There's no shame in that.
No shame. But so I didn't read it. But I watched multiple YouTube channels, and I don't know. I guess like I did it. So the most information I got was from the book, and so if you guys want to read the book, I got it on Audible, and I think it was like $10, and it was super informative, super 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 informative. Like went way into the story rather than like everything else that I was reading. It was or hearing and reading. It was very shallow in the sense of what the information had.
Right.
So strongly suggest the book. I don't have the name of it right now on the top of my head. But
Pull out your
you know what?
phone.
I'll tell you the name of the
Yeah, at
book
the end.
at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you about Mary Malone. Mary Malone.
Mary Malone.
Yeah, like Post Malone.
I was about to say, like, Post Malone.
Yeah. Wait, I feel like I'm saying her name wrong.
You think it's far enough from Mike? Are you going to hear me chewing?
Yeah, you're fine. It is Malone. I'm going to tell you about Mary Malone. Mary was born on September 23rd, 1869, in Cookstown, Ireland.
This is an old story.
This is a very old
You haven't
story.
done an old story in a minute.
Yeah. There's hardly anything about her childhood. Her parents were either too sick to care for her because of the outbreaks that were going on, like the disease outbreaks during that time, or she was old enough to be on her own because she ended up immigrating from Ireland to the United States in either 1883 or 1884, and she was like 15 at the time.
Okay.
She first lived with her aunt and uncle that already lived in New York. They had immigrated prior to her, and so she moved in with them for a little bit, and then eventually moved out and became a maid for some families. Very common for Irish immigrants to become servants or work in that trade.
Yeah.
She worked her way up the ranks until she finally became a cook. Which is like one of the highest statuses for that trade.
Right.
Was to be a cook. The kitchen.
I bet she cooked good.
And that's how she was a maid. She would do work in the laundry. Like being a launderer was like the lowest level, and like she was working her way up. One of her employers realized like, hey, she's actually really good at cooking, and they threw her in the kitchen, and she just that was her thing.
Nice.
In 1900, she got her first job as a cook, and she loved it. The kitchen was her domain. She was the boss of it. What she said went. Her duties went beyond just cooking, though. She was required.
Duties.
Boobies. Her duties went beyond just cooking. She was required to wash the dishes, clean the kitchen, and even sweep and mop the hallway and the entrances to the kitchen. So she just
took care of the kitchen.
She took care of the kitchen. She didn't have people working for her doing that stuff. Mary was really good at what she did. She would often be poached by other household employers for a larger wage. They'd be like, we'll give you a 50-cent raise if you come and work for us.
Oh.
Which, I mean,
that's a lot.
Yeah. And of course, as an Irish immigrant during the early 1900s, you don't turn down money.
Right.
So in total, she worked for 8 families between 1900 and 1907. So she really jumped around a whole lot. More than likely because she was being poached by other families, which there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
She became the money. Yeah. She became famous within the Upper East Side of New York, or Manhattan, for her peach ice cream. It was delicious and refreshing to have
good.
During a hot summer. Yeah. And the peaches were fresh.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's just refreshing.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I don't know if she I don't know how she made it, but
You okay?
Yeah. He was cleaning himself, and so there's a bunch of stuff up my nose.
Oh, okay. You need tissue?
No. I'm fine. I just got the back of my hand. There was no snot on my hand. You can look. Why are you looking at me like that? Stop looking at me like that. You're making me nervous.
I'm concerned with you because your eyes are watering and I feel like you're choking.
Are they really? They were watering?
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. I'm not choking anymore. So I'm not sure if the peaches were just like on top of just like vanilla ice cream, or if she
probably made it. It sounds like she would have made it.
But normally peaches have to be rendered down or like cooked and rendered down into a sauce. Just you don't know what I know. So
Okay.
I think she just kind of like would mix the peaches into it. Like,
okay. Maybe she made her own vanilla ice cream and then put the peaches with it.
Maybe.
Like you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. That was rude. You will find out in just a second.
All right.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I sense some foreshadowing. But anyway,
yes,
continue.
there is definitely foreshadowing in that.
Speaking of foreshadowing, you'll find out.
Okay. Are you foreshadowing?
Am I? I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
So she became famous for that ice cream at her first job in Mamaroneck, New York. I probably butchered that. The residents developed typhoid fever.
Oh, that sucks.
So, for those that don't know what typhoid fever is, it's caused by a bacteria. I'm not going to get into it, but this is what the CDC says. People infected with this can spread it to others. It typically happens when an infected person uses the bathroom and does not wash their hands. The bacteria can stay on their hands and contaminate everything that person touches, including food and drinks.
I think that's how any disease happens.
Yeah. In countries with poor sanitation, the water used to rinse and prepare food and drinks, including tap water, can also be contaminated with these bacteria. Travelers whose food or drinks are contaminated with this bacteria can then get sick. Here are the symptoms according to the CDC, because I looked it up. These are the symptoms. Usually it takes about a week for symptoms to develop, so you can have it and not even know that you have it. Fevers, you'll get a fever between 103 and 104. Weakness, stomach pain, headache, diarrhea, or constipation. Cough, loss of appetite. Some have a rash, internal bleeding, and death can occur if you're not treated properly.
COVID.
Basically.
Or really bad flu.
Really bad stomach bug, yeah. So after this family got sick, Mary dipped out of, and went and worked somewhere else.
Okay.
At this time, typhoid was known as the unsanitary disease.
Oh my gosh, every disease is caused by not being like germs.
Correct. You're not wrong, but this is
just wasn't as like, I don't know,
could you imagine if COVID was considered?
It sounds like they were treating people as if they were dirty and
yes,
gross.
No, that's
but like it's normal.
Yeah, no, that's.
But it's a different time.
It's a different time, but I mean, even like I think it's a little bit different now because we're more aware.
Right.
So like, COVID. If you got COVID, it didn't mean that you're dirty.
No,
it just was a matter of.
You're freaking unlucky and you were around someone that had it.
Yeah, and it was airborne as well.
Yeah.
So, and this is not airborne. This one was
bacterial.
Yeah, bacterial. You
have to touch something that someone else
and
touched.
you have to consume it.
Okay, right. Oh, okay.
So like
the food or the drink.
Correct. So I mean, unless like someone touched the table and then you went and touched that table and then you put your hands in your mouth.
Okay.
Like it has to.
I do that all the time.
You put your hands in your mouth?
Yeah, I like touch things and I put my hands in my mouth.
Yeah, like the whole hand?
Yeah, and sometimes I just put things in my mouth.
Can you put your fist in your hand?
My fist in my mouth? Can I put my fist in my hand?
Yeah.
Yes. Boom, boom.
Your fist in your mouth?
I'm not doing that right now.
Yeah, your hands are probably filthy.
Let me finish this drink.
My sister can. My sister Katie can. You haven't washed your hands? Ew, Brie.
I heard that someone else can, so I'm like, oh, it's on.
Yeah.
I don't think I can, actually.
I can't. I've tried.
I have a very small mouth, I think.
I do too.
For
Okay.
as much shit that comes out of my mouth is kind of small.
Yeah, mine is too.
Oh, yeah, you don't have enough room for your teeth.
Yeah. Thanks for the reminder.
Sorry. Rip
Okay.
teeth.
So, only the lower class was known to get this disease because they didn't have access to clean water. So, those in the upper class, if you were infected, you looked dirty, kind of like what we talked about.
Ew, you got sick?
Ew, you have typhoid fever?
Ew.
So, there's something that I have to tell you about Mary.
Oh, gosh, there's something about Mary.
Remember when we were
Yeah.
talking about that in the car, and I was just like,
That's funny.
So, Mary was a carrier of typhoid fever. She
must have not known.
She was never sick, but it was predicted that her mother got sick when she was pregnant with her, and that's how she got the disease and was a carrier, but she was
It was not like active or something?
like, you know how you can be asymptomatic?
Yeah.
That's what she was. She was asymptomatic.
For her whole life?
Her whole life.
Okay.
So,
there are other diseases
like
that
my
are
mom
that.
is a carrier for strep throat.
Oh, okay.
She's a carrier for strep throat, but she doesn't, and like strep B.
Right. I think you could be like a carrier for like what's the kissing disease?
Mono.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you might not actually like show it.
Yeah. I'm a carrier for strep B.
Oh, I don't know. I had my tonsils removed.
Oh.
I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
You get the picture.
Yeah. So she was a carrier. She'd never had symptoms. She never knew that she had it. In the 8 years she was a cook, she infected 7 out of the 8 families that she worked for. 22 out of those 8 families, 22 individuals got sick and 1 died.
Oh, damn.
So, because she didn't stay long at each job and never left a forwarding address, it was hard for someone to track her down and be like, Mary, knock it off. Like, stop cooking. So, in 1906, she was hired to cook for Charles Henry Warren, a banker for the wealthiest family in New York, including the Hearst family. You know who the Hearst family is? A couple stories ago, I did a story about the family that wouldn't do a kidnapping.
Yeah. Whoa, them? Like
Yeah.
that actual family?
Well,
just someone in line.
The line.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
So, full circle here.
Foreshadowing or aftershadowing.
Aftershadowing. So, they brought her...
Well, foreshadowing, because it's before.
Oh, that's true.
But it's also after. Is this a prequel or... This is so confusing.
This is kind of like Star Wars, where, like, the older, stuff happened.
Yeah. We had to give you the other juice first to see if it would stick. And it's...
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of interesting titles for this episode.
Yes, we are. Yeah. So they brought her. So the Warren family brought her to the summer rental home, to their summer rental home in Oyster Bay. So they didn't own it, but they rented it every summer.
Okay.
The community was littered with big wig names. Even President Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt.
Ugh. Dude, you got your hands in everything.
He has his hands in
He's
everything.
got his hands in typhoid fever.
Would vacation there every summer.
Of course he would.
Yeah.
He vacationed everywhere. What was this guy even a president?
He's
always staying at hotels. What are you doing, Teddy?
He's so busy.
I want to meet this guy. He sounds awesome.
I would love to have. I would invite him. Just
all
to
I
hear
picture
the
is
stories.
Robin Williams because of Night at the Museum.
Me too. But you know what would be fun is to sit down and have a dinner with him.
Yeah. I changed my mind. He's
Teddy
one of
Roosevelt.
No, I'm keeping Chris Pratt. Sorry.
Okay, I have to tell you something. In 5th grade, we had to write do this project
I never
about.
asked you.
Huh?
I never asked you in return that question.
Oh, that's okay. Because I'm telling you right now. So we had to do a project of, you had to pick like 6 people or something like that to have a dinner with, and why you would want to do it, and how you think like the conversations would go and stuff, and what would you serve. I said spaghetti. Solid.
Everyone likes it,
Everyone likes it.
and you can't mess it up.
Exactly. I chose George Bush because he was the president at the time.
Okay.
And I chose Teddy Roosevelt, President Carter, because I had done a previous project on him.
Okay.
Did you know that he had a peanut farm?
Nope.
Yeah, he did.
Interesting.
And I made a peanut. Like, I made him out of a peanut shell. Anyways, that's another side. Anyways, so, and then I said Teddy Roosevelt and then my grandpa Poppy. And I want to say it was Oprah. Oh, the Pope at the time. And I think, and Oprah Winfrey.
Such a, like, variety of, like, different
Because I had questions for all of them. But my Poppy, because, like, he's super, I love him so much. But so nowadays, probably Teddy Roosevelt, because I have so many questions for him.
Yeah, Teddy.
My Poppy.
Teddy. Come on. Come up some spaghetti, Teddy. Teddy's eating some spaghetti.
So Teddy Roosevelt, my Poppy, and because I miss him so much, and again, he's so smart. Oh, I also said Jesus. I know I said Jesus in it.
I mean, he would be really interesting to hear from.
Yeah, I agree. And then I don't know, maybe like someone smart. I don't know who else I would pick. I want to sit down with Teddy Roosevelt and my
Just
Poppy.
some interesting people.
Maybe like a famous person, like I guess
Hitler. You could ask him
Yes.
some questions.
I would really like
What
to
the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Yeah, and then also like stab him
Yeah.
with a knife between his eyes. I wouldn't want to meet a serial killer because I wouldn't want that to be like the topic of the whole dinner.
But on the other hand, it would be interesting.
No, I would love to talk to one and like
Right.
interview them, but I don't.
Not for dinner. Maybe
yeah,
like
not for
tea.
dinner. Maybe tea, like a one-on-one thing,
Yeah.
I don't know who else. Maybe like Chris Pratt.
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman would be a good one. Oh,
He's pretty
man.
smart.
Did you know he didn't finish high school?
I did not. Oh, yes, I did know that because
Yeah.
I remember he talked about that.
Yeah. Yes, Jason Bateman would be a good one.
Oh, do you know? Totally getting
Maybe
off
Kim
topic.
Kardashian.
A
Just
Kardashian.
so
Oh my
just
god.
so she could go- yeah.
Oh my god, that would be so annoying. I'd be like, I would want her there just so I could ask her to leave.
You know what? I love that. I love
Because
that.
I feel like I would be judged the whole time.
She'd just like look
Are
at
you
you
really
like this.
eating your food that way?
That would be Kourtney Kardashian.
Oh, is that Courtney
Yeah.
that does that? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's which. I've never
Kourtney
seen the show.
is
I just see the
way
TikToks.
Kourtney is way
I
more
can't believe
judgmental.
you're doing that.
Very monotone.
That one
Yeah.
girl that does her
Yeah,
impressions,
she's so funny.
hilarious.
And then
It makes me actually want to watch the Kardashians.
it's Kourtney. I love it when not a joke. Like with the hands. Like oh my gosh.
Is
not
it
the
pretty spot
salad.
on?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's
Anyways.
awesome.
The Kardashians have sent her stuff.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, wow.
Segue.
Long there. So
Teddy.
So he
Wow.
also he also would vacation there.
Okay.
The family Mary was cooking for got sick with the fever, obviously, and they all went back home to heal, back to Manhattan. The owner of the house knew he wasn't going to be able to rent his home again until he got to the bottom of how a clean, healthy family could have gotten sick with such a dirty disease.
I really hope that wasn't just caught on the mic.
I didn't hear anything.
It was a really deep burp that just rumbled up.
Do you want me to repeat myself just in case?
It's up to you. I mean, it wasn't loud. It didn't come out of my mouth. It was in my chest.
It probably didn't get picked up.
It exploded in my chest.
Oh, ow. Did it hurt?
No, it felt really good.
Oh, that's good. So the owner hired a professional to get to the bottom of it. So he hired George Soper, who worked for the Health and Safety Department of New York, and he said, don't stop until you find out what is causing this disease.
I mean, that's fair.
It's fair. Yeah. They tested all the pipes, the lines, the walls, literally everything inside the house, and everything came back negative. So they're like, what the heck? So George determined it had to have come from inside the house. I mean, outside of the house.
Okay.
It's coming from outside the house. After speaking with the family, he narrowed it down to Mary. But he had no way to track her down. They're like, yeah, the
Where'd she
Irish
go?
immigrant used to work for us. And he's like, that's who it is, because she's an Irish immigrant and she's dirty. Then an outbreak from a home in Park Avenue occurred, and George was able to find her because she was working for that family in Park Avenue.
Wow.
He met Mary in the kitchen of the Bowens penthouse, and like the family was recovering and she was cooking or something, and he was like, Mary, stop what you're doing. And she was like, you can't tell me what to do. That's not how she sounded. And he's like, you need a...
Sorry.
She had an Irish accent.
Hey, laddie, you can't tell me what to do. You go and get your some. I'm really bad at accents. Anyway.
Yeah, that was rough to watch. So he's like, Mary, stop cooking. You're making everyone sick with your poopy hands. And yeah. And he's like, I also need samples of your poo. And she's like, get out of my house. Get out of my house. Nope, that's not what she sounded like.
If you can't eat your dinner, if you can't eat your meat, you can't have your pudding. Sorry.
She was really mad at him because of how he addressed her. She grabbed a kitchen carving fork and chased him out of the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame her because it does sound like he came on pretty strong.
It did.
And like on her turf.
Yeah. And just like, ew,
like,
you have poopy hands.
This is my house.
And also like very embarrassing and demeaning.
You're making me look bad in front of my employers.
You make me look bad.
Go and get the new job.
Go. Nope. We need to stop. George sort of stalked Mary. He found out that she had a boyfriend, or at least a friend that was a boy. And while Mary was not there, he went and had a chat with this man, trying to convince him to get Mary to give him poop and urine samples. But Mary refused to cooperate. She believed the outbreaks that seemed to be following her were due to contaminated water.
Speaking of duties, you're not getting my poo.
You're not getting my poo. At the time, the concept of a healthy carrier was very unknown, even to healthcare workers. Okay. So,
asymptomatic wasn't a thing that they knew about.
Correct. It was known like to the professionals. Like the scientists and stuff, that was a new concept, but like for the common knowledge people, they really didn't understand it yet.
Plus, they didn't have like social media and stuff where they'd be like, today's new thing.
Right. And I mean, they had news press and you know, the newspapers, but it wasn't, news traveled very slowly.
Right.
There were in other countries, in other countries, there was other asymptomatic carriers. So Mary was the first one in the United States to be discovered.
Congrats.
Yeah. She's got to be good at something.
There's got to be a first everywhere.
Yeah. So George told the New York City Health Department about his findings and decided to arrest Mary as a public health threat.
He's gonna fall off.
I know. I don't want to turn it because then it... Okay.
It's like way too much over this side, by the way.
I know. Okay. I actually need to...
Why don't you turn it?
Because I can sit right here.
Oh, okay.
I moved it over so I could see your face.
Oh, okay.
So George told... and he decided to arrest Mary. Okay. She was forced by 5 other policemen, and even one of the doctors trying to track her down had to sit on top of her to restrain her to arrest her.
Oh my gosh.
She was transported to the Willard Parker Hospital, where she was forced to give urine and fecal matter samples for 4 days. The massive number of typhoid bacteria that was found in her stool samples indicated that the infection center was in her gallbladder,
Oh no.
which was later debunked. They were like just made that like prediction up. They questioned Mary, and she admitted she never washed her hands after using the bathroom because she was so busy.
Oh my gosh, Mary, that's gross.
Mary.
That is nasty.
But in her defense, the germ theory of diseases was still not fully
Right.
accepted by the general public.
Right, like sanitation has come a long way.
Yeah, yeah. So on March 19th, 1907, Mary was sentenced to quarantine on North Brother Island, which is an island in the middle of a river.
They just sent her to an island. They're like,
Well, there was
stay here.
there was a hospital there, and it was basically like a hospital for people with uncurable diseases.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. She was forced to give stool and urine. Just an island. Like they're like, you can live there. Here's a volleyball. His name is Wilson. She was forced to give stool and urine samples 3 times a week. They suggested removing her gallbladder, but she refused because she did not believe that she was a carrier. She's like, I am not a carrier.
Even though all the families that I live with developed this.
So, and they're like, if you remove the
Get out of
gallbladder,
my dreams. Get into your car. I don't know.
well, they're like, if you remove the gallbladder, like it will take care of it, and you will no longer be a carrier. But later, after everything, they like realized like actually we don't know if it was in the gallbladder.
Right.
So they're like, all right, whatever. You can get out of quarantine if you promise not to work as a cook. And she refused. She attracted the media, and she was dubbed Typhoid Mary.
Oh, I've heard that before.
In 1909, she attempted to sue the New York Health Department, but it was denied. While she was on the island, Mary had her friend also testing her samples that she was giving through a private New York laboratory, and all the tests came back negative for typhoid, which is very bizarre.
Yeah.
After 2 years and 11 months, a new New York State Commissioner of Health was appointed and had Mary released if she promised to never cook again. And she was like, all right, fine. So she finally agreed to never cook again. In February 19th, 1910, Mary was released and was given a job as a laundry worker, which paid less, only $20 a month instead of $50. She hated it. It was demeaning compared to what she was doing and was barely making her ends meet. So after a few years, she started cooking again.
Oh, Mary.
Mary!
Come on now. At least wash your hands.
At least wash your hands. She stopped checking in with the health department, which was part of their agreement, and giving samples. And she was working under new last names, so they couldn't find her. She worked for She worked for a number of restaurants, hotels, and spa centers.
Gosh.
She changed her job so much, George couldn't track her down.
Oh, no.
And in 1915, Mary got a job at Sloan Hospital for Women, which is a maternity hospital.
Oh, my gosh.
And 25 women were infected and 2 died.
No. Mary.
George was brought in for investigation, and he was able to narrow it in on Mary. But Mary fled. Luckily, though, the police were able to find her and arrest her when she was actually taking food to a friend in Long Island.
Jeez.
She was brought back to North Brother Island on March 27th, 1915. Mary eventually accepted her fate as Typhoid Mary and did what she could do to enjoy the rest of her life on the island. She spent 23 years there. She lived in a private 1-story cottage. And in 1918, she was allowed to take day trips to the main island with supervision. She would shop and go and visit friends. She got a job working for the Island Riverside Hospital. She worked there for pathologists that worked there. It's studying those with uncurable at the time diseases.
Okay.
And Mary suffered a stroke in 1932, and she was confined to a hospital bed until she died because she never fully recovered. On November 11th, 1938, she died of pneumonia at the age of 69. She was cremated, and her ashes were buried at the St. Raymond Cemetery in the Bronx, and 9 people attended her funeral.
Wow.
And that is the story of Typhoid Mary.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
So, like, I get, like, I felt bad for her at first.
But she was being
then
naughty.
she started doing it and knowing that she was contagious and carrying it. And she worked for a maternity ward.
That's why
You're going to kill babies. Well, no, you won't kill babies. But you're going to infect mothers who give their milk to babies.
Yeah, technically she didn't break any laws.
Yeah, I was wondering how they were able to get away with arresting her.
Well, but they said that she was a threat to society's health. So I was like, okay, how do she didn't break any laws. How is this true crime? But, like, she was purposely going out and cooking. She was killing people.
And fleeing. And changing her name and being very secretive about it.
Yeah. She was being knowing that you have something and you're a carrier, even if you don't believe that you are. People are saying you are, and it's too much of a coincidence. You're killing people.
Do your civil right.
Do your civil right and wash your hands.
Or community right, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Wash your damn hands.
Wash your hands, people.
That sucks to be known as Typhoid Mary.
Yeah, she hated it. She hated
I would too.
It.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
so embarrassing.
Yeah, like it's.
Yeah. Wash your hands, people.
Yeah, wash your hands. 20 seconds.
Yeah. And so that ice cream, that's why I said that I don't think that she rendered down the peaches, because they ate she served this ice cream and, like, people got sick. There's a couple more stories that I didn't include.
So I thought you were going to say that she, like, put people in it or something. I was like, because you were being weird about it, and I'm like, oh man, I'm sensing some foreshadowing. Are they eating people? Is it really people ice cream and not peach ice cream?
Ew. Oh, I wonder. That would be so gross. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I am so excited to hear your story.
Okay, so
you guys should see Bree's face right now. She's looking all cutesy.
Very excited. I found it fitting to wear this shirt.
Oh,
it is our Let's Summon Demon shirt.
No.
Turn off all the lights. Light the candles. We're going to start now. I brought a Ouija board. Just kidding. Not really. I didn't. I promise. I have a Roomba.
Oh.
For my blanket. Get it? Just kidding. Okay. So I am doing my story on the Demon House. Dum dum dum.
The Demon House. I've never heard this.
Yep. Also known. Oh man, I
don't
even
like demons.
I don't.
They're very mean.
I
to
don't
me.
either. These are the stories that I really don't like messing with, but I felt it was necessary to do one because I haven't done
a spray?
Some kind of possession / demon house in a while. I was actually thinking about it when I grabbed it earlier, but no, it's okay. I'll do it afterwards if I need to. What's the other name for it? The news called the house something different. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm calling it the Demon House because that's what the docuseries is calling it.
Okay.
So, first of all, I got a lot of my information from this it's like a movie. It's a docuseries type movie type of thing because it's like an hour and a half. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm seeing the ring light.
Yeah, turn it down.
It's fine.
Or turn it off. It'll give you a headache. Don't give a headache. Get a headache.
I already took medicine for a headache earlier.
Oh, did you have one? I'm sorry.
A little one.
Oh.
I don't. You know how people are like, no, I don't need medicine for my headache. Like, I don't like headaches.
Yeah, you like to try to prevent it before it comes.
Yeah,
same. What's that?
It's just yeah.
So anyway, I got a lot of my information from this movie / docuseries, whatever it was. It wasn't a series. It was a movie. And it was by Zack Bagans.
And Bree wants me to watch it later, you guys.
We're going to watch it. There's no want. Amy's going to watch it. So after the following events occurred here that I'm going to talk about, the home came up for sale, and Zach purchased the home for only 35K to deeply investigate it.
Okay.
If you watch the movie, first of all, it's called Demon House, and it is free on Amazon Prime. It gives a warning prior to watching it, saying that it is believed that demons can attach themselves to you through other people, objects, or electronic devices. Then Zack begins introducing himself and says that this is the case that really fucked me up, and that this was the next Amityville.
Oh my gosh.
So like, I will vouch, this is a really good movie. You guys should watch it. It has a lot of amazing information. He did a very good job covering this story, and like, he did a really good job investigating, and he debunked everything that like you could possibly think of.
Okay.
Really
like,
good
is
story.
it like, oh well, it's the faulty wires or something?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start off by telling you about the Ammons family.
Adams family.
Ammons.
Ammons.
Oh, sorry. So, the Ammons family, Latoya Ammons, her mother, Rosa Campbell, and her 3 children, ages at 7, 9, and 12, all are remaining unnamed. She wanted to keep them private,
Okay.
out of the news and whatnot. Although I think her mom mentioned one of the kids' names in one of the things, but
Like
I'm
on
not going to say his
accident?
name. Yeah. But they moved into a rental home on 3860 Carolina Street in Gary, Indiana in November of 2011.
Oh, this
So
is like recent.
It's very recent. The street was quiet and surrounded. I hate that I put quiet on there. I didn't change that because it was the whole Gary, Indiana is a very bad high crime rate place, so it's not very quiet. But it was kind of like a suburb type area, I guess, or low income houses area, I guess. But like, families lived there, so. But also, like, Zach covered where there were like lots of shootings in the area too. So, like I said, high crime rate. But anyway,
Not quiet.
not yes, but also like normal for the area. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain that. What was that noise? I'm super paranoid. I don't know. Is your door
Was that-
locked?
My front door, yes.
Yeah,
It sounded
okay.
like it came from outside.
That's cool.
It's fine.
That's awesome.
It sounded like
I'm so excited.
maybe you should not share this.
I shoveled your stairs a little bit, by the way.
Oh, Brie.
Yeah, because I almost die every time I go on them.
Well, why are you
And
going
so
on the
did my children.
stairs?
I didn't get them much. I got as much as I could.
No, this
Because
is
I
what,
feel bad for your mailman.
Oh.
They're gonna die, and you're gonna get sued.
Well, I mean, I don't go down those stairs.
They're like humped over.
Oh, no.
So like, you're gonna like, they're easy to like fall. I always have to hold the girls' hands. Anyway, any hooser.
Well, you know who you need to talk to about that is Rick, because they are the ones that go down those stairs. I don't have to shovel them anymore. I don't have
That's
to
weird.
shovel them anymore because I don't have the daycare.
You go to work every day. You're a busy lady.
It's actually Alice's chore. Talk to Alice about it. Take it up with Alice.
Put some salt on them. Would that melt them?
Probably not.
I always wonder if that would work, because I've thought about
No,
putting them on the back porch steps.
It does.
This is all gonna get cut out.
I use salt all the time.
Does it melt it?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
You buy the
You should
salt.
put some fucking salt on your stairs, dude. You're
Not
gonna get sued.
not with that much.
They probably just grab the package and like sling it up to your front door.
You know, with that much snow on them, it would melt and then freeze.
Oh, okay.
So you have to.
Like,
they
scrape it as soon as it melts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really hard. That's how our back steps are, and I always have to like
Your
dig.
dogs
at 'em.
are gonna sue you.
Our dog Dakota slips and falls really easily, so we have to like dig at him really.
She probably
we
has
have to
bad
stay on
hips
top
too.
of him. Yeah, Pit. Okay, so the street it's a pretty basic neighborhood, 1-story, low income homes. Like I said in the docuseries, Zach talked about kind of being very high crime rate in the area. So come December or a month or so after settling in, the family noticed some black flies swarming in the front porch, continuing to return even after they believed they had killed them.
Compared
and this is
to blue flies.
they described them as horse flies.
Oh.
So like big fat ones.
Really mean ones.
Yeah.
That bite.
Yeah. I hate those things. I'm so glad we do have those here.
We do.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like we have bigger ones here. So they would return over and over, and they were on the front porch where it was just screened in. So it was cold outside in December, and they were still coming. And there's like snow on the ground, so that's unusual.
That is very unusual.
Um, Rosa, the grandmother, called back. Oh wait. Whenever they were interviewing her about this, she recalled back and she was like, "This is not normal. We killed them and killed them and killed them, but they kept coming back."
Oh my gosh.
From then on, things got worse. The family claimed to hear footsteps on the basement stairs late at night, and the doors in the basement and the kitchen, like, creepily creaked open, would open up by themselves, even if the basement door was locked shut. Sometimes they'd hear banging when they would lock the basement door. Latoya, the mother, and her mother also claimed to hear dogs barking sometimes in the home. And also, like, just there's no dogs. They didn't own a dog, and then no one near them had a dog. And Rosa had claimed to see a shadowy figure of a man pacing in the living room and coming out of their closet. And they even found like wet boot prints on the floor from it.
I don't like that.
I know. On March 10th, 2012, at around 2 a.m., Rosa called into her bedroom where the 12-year-old daughter or granddaughter was levitating above the bed unconscious.
What?
The family surrounded her and started praying. Eventually,
the grandmother?
Yeah.
Granddaughter.
The granddaughter, the 12-year-old granddaughter.
Okay.
She's the oldest kid. So they found her levitating on the bed unconscious. The family surrounded her and started praying, and she eventually came back down.
Oh my god.
And had no recollection of what happened. They were convinced something supernatural was here, obviously, and that they needed help, so they contacted some local churches. No one believed them. Like, a lot of people thought they were talking bullcrap.
Well, it's 2012.
Yeah.
Not that it makes a difference.
We're above that. No, we don't believe in ghosts. No.
I don't believe in ghosts.
That's a
anymore.
lie.
But, I mean, really, like, it's 2000.
Also, it's 2012. Like, who's going to make that up? So many people could debunk it.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I feel like, kind of like people say serial killers don't exist anymore. I feel like that's kind of the same way when it comes to, like, possessions. Like,
Yeah.
you only hear about them
like years and years after one.
Yeah, but also like it's like something that's happened in the past that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, it still happens. I think we've just become like used to it or numb to it almost. Maybe. It's just a normal thing. It's not a big deal.
That people get possessed? Normally you just get put on medication.
People still get possessed all the time, man.
Do you see that often?
It's a real problem, guys. Seek your local doctor or priest.
Your witch doctor.
Yeah. Don't do that. Okay, so one of the church officials did believe them, and his name was Father Michael crap, I forgot to remember the pronunciation. Manoy, I think.
You didn't write it down.
No. Manoy, he came, I know that's wrong. Michael Manoy, he came and visited the home and concluded that it had spirits in it, and I don't know if he suggested this. So a couple of the sources that I was looking into were like everywhere also, so I need to warn you guys, I might be jumping back and forth to different things. And they weren't clear on the timeline on things either, so one of the churches, or possibly him, I doubt it was him, suggested for the family to deep clean the home with like bleach and ammonia.
Oh.
Yeah, and to use oil, like olive oil, to draw crosses on every door and window in the home.
That was blood that you had to do that with.
No. No, that's definitely like a Catholic thing.
Was he like, okay, first off, your house is just like really dirty,
You
so let's
clean the hell out of your home, please.
Let's use some bleach.
These are dust bunnies.
And
dust
also,
demons.
Dust demons. Oh my gosh.
They also suggested to pour olive oil on the kids' hands and feet and then smear it into the shape of a cross on their foreheads. It's like anointing them.
Not ash?
Mm-mm. No, that's only Ash Wednesday, home slice. It's like before
I'm
Lent.
so confused why we're using oil for this right
That
now.
it's a Catholic thing. You use oil for stuff like that.
Oil.
Yeah.
I'm not Catholic, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
It's not
denominational
uncommon.
Christian here.
So the family also reached out to two clairvoyants who had said the home had over 200 demons inside of it.
Bro.
It was also discovered by a neighbor that a total of 5 people had died there or died while living in the home, and one of them being a young boy who died in the bedroom in the basement.
Baby.
The clairvoyant suggested to make an altar in the basement as well as burning sage and sulfur throughout the home, which they did.
Uh-huh.
They put a table in the basement, covered it with a white sheet, and then placed a white candle and a statue of Mary, Joseph, and Jesus on it, and had a Bible open to Psalm 91. And things seemed to settle down.
Okay.
At least for a few days.
Right.
The family then claimed that demons started possessing Latoya and her children after this. The children's eyes bulged and they had evil smiles, along with their voices would deepen.
No, I don't like that.
Latoya said she felt weak, lightheaded, and warm when she was possessed. Her body shook and she felt out of control. The youngest boy would sit in the closet talking to a boy that only he could see, and I guess the boy's name is Trey.
Okay.
And it would describe to him what it felt like to be killed. This kid is like 9. Then when things got more violent, the youngest flew out of the bathroom like he'd been thrown.
Oh my gosh.
And on another occasion, the daughter had a headboard of one of the beds smack her in the head so bad that she needed stitches. I don't know how the hell that happened.
What the heck?
Things got so bad that some nights they would spend the night in a hotel, and possibly with the Ammons brother. I don't know again, because there was like interviews done with him, and he said that the kids had spent some time with him. So I'm assuming that this was the time that they spent with him.
Okay.
However, he claimed that even whenever they would come visit him, they would still act like they were affected by this, especially the youngest one.
Right.
He said that even... he said that even though they were out of the home, they would still get attacked. He recalled a day that when the kids were all in the living room, when the youngest started saying some weird chant, then the other brother joined in, and then the oldest daughter joined in, and they were just all like chanting. And they would also get into physical fights to the point to where the adults had to break them up, and during one fight, the youngest cursed at the grandmother, which was something completely out of character.
Do you think that they knew that they were fighting?
No, not from like the interviews and everything. I don't think they knew half the stuff that was going on.
The boys, correct?
Yeah, the girl and boy. Yeah, boy. There's 2 boys and a girl.
Oh my gosh.
They decided to seek help from the family's doctor, who first wrote it off as them being delusional and hallucinating. While at the doctor's office, the sons cursed at the doctor in demonic voices, and according to actual medical records, the youngest was lifted and thrown into the wall with nobody touching him.
Oh my gosh.
The boys then passed out and wouldn't come to, so an ambulance was called, and DCS caseworkers were called, taking them to the Methodist hospital. DCS was called in to investigate with this family because they thought, like, a neglect and abuse is going on in this home, and they're like being delusional about paranormal stuff.
Right.
Which it was all found that they were all healthy, no marks or bruises. Everyone was sound of mind. Latoya felt the need to anoint her sons whenever they got to the hospital with olive oil, and the nurses just kind of like laughed it off, I guess.
Oh.
Eventually, the boys woke up, and while the oldest seemed normal, the youngest screamed and lashed out. The DCS case manager, Valerie Washington, was interviewing the family, and while talking to the youngest, he began to growl, showing his teeth, and his eyes rolled back in his head. He then locked his hands around his brother's throat and wouldn't let go until some adults pried him off. Later, the
Oh my
boys were brought
gosh.
into an exam room with Washington and a psychologist and the grandmother. The youngest boy began to growl again and told his brother, "It's time to die," in a deep voice, "I will kill you."
Bree.
Then proceeded to headbutt his grandmother in the stomach. The grandmother grabbed him by the hands and started praying. Then, according to not only the witnesses, but it is actually on a medical record, like it says
Right.
it, that the older brother had a weird grin and walked backward up the wall to the ceiling and flipped over the grandmother, landing on his feet. Like he walked backward, did this, and did this. Like something out of the freaking Matrix. Like
And
he did this. It's on a medical report. 3 people witnessed it.
I can't.
I know that part really freaked me out. That part was cool. Not cool, crazy. So the caseworker and the hospital staff saw this and they pieced out. They were like, "Nope." They walked out of the room. And afterwards, the boy didn't recall anything.
What that poor grandmother.
I know the poor whole family. That's
Yeah,
awful.
yeah.
After this incident, a wellness check was. I think multiple wellness checks were done on the
I'm
family
sure.
by the cops and DCS and whatnot.
Yeah.
Or is it CPS? CPS. I keep on saying DCS.
You do, but
I think they're both the same thing.
It just
Child
depends.
Protective Services and DCF is what I'm thinking.
Department of
Family. Something family. I don't know. I'm meaning CPS, guys. Sorry.
I mean, here it's called OCS, Office.
They're all
Child
different. I think it's
Services.
DCF in Florida,
Yeah.
but I'm saying DCS, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, it's all the same thing. They just depends on where you're
My
at.
computer's further away from my eyes, and I didn't bring my glasses, so that's my excuse.
Okay.
And I've had some drinks.
And you were driving us.
It's like the episode of the Parks and Rec whenever April and Andy finally go get checked by the doctor.
She's like, "You drove us here,"
and he's like, "Smudgy thing, smudgy thing." I don't know. And she's like, "You drove us here." No, my vision's not that bad. I'm just making an excuse. Okay, so after, like I said, after this incident, multiple wellness checks were done. And it was done by the same CPS worker, Valerie Washington, and there was another one, but I think she dipped out too.
I forgot what state this was in.
Indiana. Indiana. Speaking of, yeah.
Oh, okay. Pawnee.
And also,
No?
yeah, Pawnee.
Okay.
Yep. And multiple police officers, including Captain Charles Austin. He played a big role in the documentary, so I'm just gonna mention him a lot. They determined the kids should stay in CPS custody until further determination, which sucks for the family. Like they found that
just
everybody
go to another foster home.
yeah, they
Not
just
another
like
one, but-
stayed with someone until like things mulled over. But like that sucks for like the mom and the grandmother, especially since they found that everyone was sound of mind, everyone was getting taken care of. I think it was because they were out of school for a while, and that's why they were doing like wellness checks. But they were out of school because they were possessed. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, well, you're not going to send your child to school.
My kid's sick. Oh, do they have the cold? No, they're possessed
They're possessed
by the devil.
They keep
by a
climbing
demon.
walls. I
don't know what they're gonna do.
I
at
don't
school,
understand.
so.
Okay, this
They
makes
keep
me,
threatening to kill me, so I don't want them to threaten to kill a student.
I don't understand why they would think that they're safer staying with strangers in a foster care home
Instead of being with family, where it's gonna
Yeah.
be more strong. Yeah. Because they don't know for sure if it's something paranormal or because I mean, like that's not something that like that can actually be like proven.
Yeah, it just.
I know.
I just pulled out my hair.
So frustrated for the
So
mom and the grandma.
Sorry.
I
go
know,
ahead.
it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
So while there, the captain of the police mentioned going into the basement and he found that the room was completely concreted, which he found was super like normal, but then he noticed underneath the stairs was dirt. Like the normal ground was there, and he's like, "That's
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
The whole basement is concreted except for under this little section of the stairs.
That is strange.
Like you could see it through the stairs and everything."
Yeah.
And so he believed that this, for some reason, because the basement had just weird vibes. And he believed that this had something to do with what was going on in the home.
I don't know. The basement has like really
It's
weird
just a
vibes.
weird vibe. I just don't like it. It's
I
just
just
not
really
for
don't
me.
like it. Do you see that dirt?
Ew. Gross.
Ew.
Go get some bleach and clean up. I love that we're both twiddling our hair. He, along with other officers on the site, Yeah, I'm at the right spot. Okay, so he, along with other officers on the site, began to dig under the stairs and found a press-on nail, a comb, 2 children's socks, a heavy bar, a red tin, and women's panties.
Sounds like a weird serial killer's
Collection.
collection.
Yeah. Captain Austin also said that after he left the home one of the nights, he went to the gas station, and while he was parked, the radio station started acting up
No.
and went to static, and he heard a deep voice coming through saying, "Who in there?"
Who in there?
Other officers claimed to notice the doors in the basement changing positions randomly by themselves. Another visiting the home admitted to carrying around a tape recorder, and while walking around, they caught something on the recording whispering, "Hey." Just, "Hey.
How's it going?
Hey. What's up?" The priest, Father Manoy, I'm saying it so wrong. I know I am.
That sounds
and I knew I
right.
was going to. Who was helping the family, was attempting to perform an exorcism on Latoya in the home. Noticed she was developing an aversion to crosses, and every time he'd hold one up to her, she'd begin to convulse consistently.
Oh my gosh.
He walked around blessing the home and told Latoya and her mother, Rosa, to find somewhere else to stay temporarily because it wasn't safe.
Right.
In the center bedroom, the police found that the blinds were dripping oil from the center
What type
down.
Like, sorry.
You're good.
What type of oil?
So they it was like some kind of greasy fluid.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say. I won't say oil.
Because you talk about olive oil.
Yeah, and putting it on the windows, right?
Wow.
So you would think that that's what it was. So they suspected it may have been Rosa putting on the oil like they told her to, as instructed. And so, they wiped it down. Thank you for laying right back down. So they wiped him down, and then they put a Q-tip in the door and closed the door to see like if anyone would go in there, the Q-tip would fall, and then they would go and put more oil on the blinds. So they were just doing a little test to see if it was her. So they returned about 40 minutes later. The Q-tip was still in the door, and there was oil on the blinds again.
Well, obviously they're going through the window.
Correct. Yeah. This seems super logical.
Yeah.
They couldn't find anywhere it was coming from, including outside. They looked everywhere. They had no idea. And it wasn't even like the top of the blinds. It was the center down. It was just starting at a random spot, like the center down of the blinds, and just like dripping oil or liquid or whatever.
I just really don't like it.
Another CPS worker, the one who dipped out, she also never returned. She had touched the liquid on the blinds, and she felt pain in her hand, and it turned white, as if like she had burned it and all the blood had gone out of it.
What?
And she had gotten a lot of pain in it. And I guess that's when she dipped out.
Yeah.
And in another instance, while Captain Austin was there, he found that Father Manoy...
Captain Austin?
Yes, the police captain.
Okay.
Captain Austin
was
there.
I thought you said Captain
Awesome.
Awesome, yeah.
Awesome. We could say that. He was pretty cool. He found Father Manoy outside, standing, and he had noticed that he was turning like sheet white, and he asked, "What's wrong?" And Father Manoy said, "The blinds are dripping." He's just like outside standing like in a trance, and he turned sheet white, and he's like, "The blinds are dripping."
Can he see them?
No.
What?
But like her hand turned white and his face turns white.
Yeah.
So feeling the need to further help the family, Father Manoy requests permission to perform an official exorcism on Latoya Ammons, which was granted by the bishop. And he did do one, because the first one was just kind of like him blessing her and whatnot. So he got an official approval, and whenever he was doing it, she felt that it was lifted from her.
Oh,
So
okay.
now I've got more. I'm not done yet.
Oh, jeez.
I'm only about halfway through.
Oh my god, I hate
Yeah,
this so
it's
much.
a long one. So there was a previous.
Ew, I just snorted. Did you hear that?
I was wondering what that was.
It was like.
So, while Zack and the crew were there at the home, one day a woman named Mika and her children pulled up to the home randomly, and she had said that she'd lived there in the 90s, and she'd heard about what was going on from the news and whatnot, because this thing had gone crazy viral. They wanted to check out the home, and of course, Zack warned her and her kids. He's like, hey, like, the last family had kids here, and they got, like, really affected by this. Are you sure you want to let everybody in the house? She's like, they're fine. Don't touch anything. So she lets them in. They all go in, go get a little tour. Mika claimed that her friend, who would often visit her whenever she lived there, had heard footsteps in the home and heard noises in the home. And that also Mika said that she never liked the basement and would never go down there. So they went down there.
Of course they did.
When they were down there, you see in the camera, she, like, jerks her leg up and, like, looks up at her son. And she's like, did you just kick me? And he's like, no, I didn't kick you. And she's like, you kicked me. And he's like, okay. But he totally didn't kick her. You can see, like, they roll back the film and nothing happened. But you could see, like, her have a jerk reaction, like something happened.
Like something kicked her.
She had said that, I quote, I had dreams in the house where someone I know would die soon. Then my brother, who used to live in the basement, was shot and killed. No one I knew would listen to me, and then it happened. That's why I don't go into the basement.
Oh my god!
And that wasn't even the little boy that had died there. He's a different person.
Oh my lord!
While filming, Mika's mic randomly picks up a voice in the background saying, "Run, Latoya." Clear as day, too.
Did she run?
Latoya wasn't there. She wasn't living there anymore.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You can also start to notice Mika. They were all kind of acting weird. Mika started acting weird and uncomfortable, like she had to get out and kind of got, like, dazed. But her daughter started getting really, like, weird and just dazed and acting, like, just very strange. They left, but 2 weeks later, Mika's daughter, Erica, attempted suicide by stabbing herself in her wrist, like puncturing them.
Yeah.
Like a hole. And then also ODing.
So, like, she let herself...
2 days later. Sorry, not 2 weeks. 2 days later.
So she bled out then, I'm guessing?
No, it's like... puncturing yourself in your wrist whenever, like, a demon thing is happening is like a demon thing. Like, it's like a Jesus, because Jesus was crucified and he was nailed through his wrists or whatever.
She died from puncturing herself.
She didn't die.
Oh, she didn't.
She attempted suicide. Yeah.
Gotcha,
She punctured herself in her wrist and then she OD'd. 3 weeks later, Zack visited them and had them go see Father Manoy, who performed an exorcism on Erica.
Okay.
She recalled before this all happened, she got so angry with her mom, she threatened to kill her, and then she put a hole in her wrist and attempted overdosing.
Oh my gosh.
While in the hospital, Mika and the daughter's sister claimed to find a big 6 scratched in her back.
Just one?
Yeah. During the exorcism, Erica's...
Could have been a 9.
Maybe, if she would have flipped upside down.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, and mom.
Yeah.
During the exorcism, you can see, because they filmed the exorcism, you can see Erica's head just, like, randomly drop, like, super dramatically.
What?
And then that's when the priest believed that, like, something left her and, like, everything was fine.
Okay.
So, Zack's investigation. Through further investigation, Zack had a specialist named Derry Taft come and try and debunk things in the home, which he couldn't. After he had, I'll go more into that a little bit more.
Okay.
He had a little bit of an episode, the doctor. He felt ill, and they all went upstairs, and Zack went to go step out for some fresh air. And caught on camera, the cameraman, Adam, his camera, while he was walking through, the doctor was still in the house, just kind of standing there chilling out. And so the doctor starts walking through the house just like unknowingly, and he
Right.
goes to through the back hallway and kind of goes into the back one of the bedrooms. And as he's passing through, you can see in the camera this black figure come out of the bathroom, and it goes through 7 frames, going towards Adam, the camera guy, and the doctor.
Nope. Sorry. I can't.
Yeah,
No.
and it was like I yelled. I was like, "Whoa!" Because it was like really crazy and really fast, and it's not someone's finger. It's not nothing. So
Okay.
on the way back, whenever he turned around to come back, he touched the wall exactly where it landed, and then he got really sick. And he's like, "Yeah, I feel really bad energy in this room." He's like, "I'm feeling nauseous and dizzy and all this other stuff." Uh, Also, after this incident, the camera guy, Adam, begins to get affected by it. He starts to act strange, sneaks into the basement, which no one notices. He sneaks into the basement, and later they find him laying down in the basement in one of the bedrooms, just on the floor.
I don't
When
like
they,
this.
it's about to get heavy. When they return to the
It's
hotel that they're
about
staying
to.
at, Adam, the camera guy, starts vomiting blood in Zach's bathroom, and then he leaves and goes and like leaves his room to go to his
Uh-huh.
room, I assume. And Zach hears him start screaming, and he screams for Zach, and starts acting way out of character. Then they find him. He's like cursing and yelling at random things, and saying he wanted to go back to the home. And once they got him settled, he made them turn off all the cameras, which of
Uh-huh.
course they pulled the camera on their lap underneath the table, and they were still recording everything.
Sure.
Uh, the guy, Adam, the camera guy, had said that whenever he left the room, he went to the elevator. When it opened up, he had seen a tall goat man that looked so real, and he screamed for Zack. And he said it wasn't coming for him, it was coming for Zack.
How did he know that?
Just he felt it.
He felt it.
Yeah. So Adam had to be let go out during this investigation because of his behavior. It was not changing. He was still like something was coming over him, and he was not calming down. And so he was becoming dangerously violent. So now talk about foreshadowing,
Foreshadowing?
or after shadowing. Since I'm telling you uh, this part of the story in the docu-series, in the very beginning, I put that in the wrong spot. There it is. I moved things around the wrong way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the docu-series, in the very beginning, it starts out with Zack talking about in 2014, prior to this going viral, Zack claimed, prior to the story, like the story of the demon house going viral, Zack claimed that he had had a nightmare like a week before where he had seen a tall goat figure breathing black smoke into his mouth, and he had woke up and like his lungs were hurting from it. A week later, the story breaks about the demon house. Within that week, Zack Bagans purchased the home, sight unseen, and goes to it with a film crew. When he's on set, he received a text from a psychic medium, who was also a friend, who got word that he had purchased the home, and he sent him a warning. He said, end quote, "Be safe. Saw visions of this demon being very, very large, almost like a hulking type figure, horns turned back, and centaurian feet. Be
What?
careful. I don't think it's an 8 out of 10 on the demonic scale, and below Satan himself." Zack did not tell anyone about this dream. So this guy is seeing some kind of goat figure just like Zack's dream, and he didn't say anything to anyone. And also, the psychic said he had seen something that was after Zack about it, and he didn't tell him about it.
Oh my god.
Um,
So, okay. I how did he have a dream about something that hadn't happened yet?
yeah, that's the point. Because he's sensitive to it.
How did that thing know that he was going to purchase? hate
Must
it.
be powerful.
I hate this.
All right, where am I at? Because
Sorry.
I forgot to move something around, so that's why I'm confused. So we're getting to the final part of it.
Okay.
We all know during Ghost Adventures, they all have a lockdown where they turn off the lights, lock themselves in wherever they're
Yes.
investigating. So Zack felt that since so many people were getting affected by this place, he should do this alone.
Do
So
the lockdown by him? Oh.
So he boards up the entire house, windows, it looks like it's hurricane proof. Boards up everything, windows, doors, screws himself into the house. There's no way he can get in unless the fire department comes and gets
Sure.
him, or they unscrew him out.
Right.
So he wanted to do it solo, and lights off and everything. He did tell the police captain about it, and the police guy was like, if something goes wrong, you need to promise that you're going to contact me so I can tell the fire department to break you out.
Right.
So at first,
was it the same captain?
Captain Austin. Yeah,
That's
he's
funny.
cool. He was a cool guy. He seemed really cool.
Yeah.
So at first, Zach Bagans was really hesitant to turn off the lights, which I've never seen before. I've never seen him not like want to turn off the lights during an investigation. But like he was by himself and he was completely boarded up in this house. And this house had a lot of like crazy history. And there's so much more in the documentary that I'm not mentioning. But like this place affects him big time.
Wow.
So he's very hesitant to turn them off, but eventually he does. And during the night, as per usual, you hear the typical bumps and knocks, and voices.
Right.
One saying, "That's my baby," which also was very clear as day. Like they didn't need to break it down or anything. You could say, "That's my baby."
What?
While laying in one of the beds, you hear this raspy growl, and he begins to tell it. He's like, "Go away," and he drops his camera that he's got. His infrared camera or whatever, or
Right.
night vision camera, drops it on the bed, and it's unfocused, but you can still see like if there was something in front of you. And then they have a surveillance camera in the room.
Oh, okay.
And so he's lying on a bed, and he's got the camera next to him that's unfocused, and you see this dark mass pass by, and then he begins to experience a lot of pain in his eyes.
Oh my gosh.
And the next day, like he's like saying, my eyes, and he's throwing shit around and like freaking out. And the next day they found that his eyes were crossing and he had double vision, and he had developed a eye condition called diploma, which is permanent, and he has to wear like certain kind of glasses for the rest of his life.
So is that why he wears glasses now?
Yes, there are other podcasts to make fun of him for that, but I'm guessing that that's why now.
What?
So, but yeah, and the cause the doctors don't know because it's like not like hereditary or anything, and he didn't have any other issues, I guess. But
what the heck?
yeah, he got completely like permanently damaged from this. Does that scare you?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, so I'm almost done, but I have a couple little things that I want to mention. There were multiple people affected by this, as I said before.
Sure.
The CPS worker who kind of dipped out was burned just after 30 days, suffered multiple injuries such as broken ribs, from a jet ski accident,
What?
third-degree burns from a motorcycle accident, and broken hand and a broken ankle. This all could be unrelated, but it was mentioned in the docuseries, so I felt the need to mention it as well. The home inspector, just after returning home from the house, had a tree fall down and almost hit his car while driving home. He was choked by an unseen force while sleeping, and he also developed cancer not long after.
Oh my gosh.
The day before performing the official exorcism, Father Manoy was riding his bike and was randomly like thrown off by an unseen force. And when he looked at his bike, his seat was like turned the wrong way, and it was just like something that he didn't do.
What?
Just after leaving the home, Captain Austin had slipped and fell on the sidewalk, injuring his head. He had to go to the ER. Valerie Washington, the other CPS worker, was mentally disturbed by this, and she seeks therapy for it.
Oh my Lord.
Kevin Ammons the brother of Latoya Ammons.
Uh-huh.
He was staying with her at the time, and Zach and them were like interviewing him and getting information because Latoya and them weren't giving him information because they didn't want any contact with someone who had been in the house.
Right.
He had gotten pretty much kicked out of his family's house because they didn't want any contact with someone who had had contact with someone with the house
Oh my gosh.
because they felt that it could pass through, which, I mean, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
One of Zach's close friends and a common guest on the show had heard about the girl Erica who attempted suicide, and so she attempted to reach out to whatever was in the house, and she believed that she had made contact. She even sent Zach a recording, and she found there was a voice saying something's wrong, and after a few months she had been murdered, along with her roommate.
Wow.
Mika, the mother with the three kids, her. Oh, I think I mentioned this earlier. Her brother was also murdered with whenever living there. The cameraman Adam appeared not to be the same ever again, kind of spiraling out, changing his personality, like having like 666 tattooed on him, and just like very like satanic type of things. And lastly, Dr. Taft. So I didn't get to tell you about Dr. Taft. He was doing like electromagnetic readings on the house and seeing like if it was normal, if all the numbers were normal, or if something like chemically or the earth was causing some kind of weird phenomena that was making people think there was paranormal going on, which everything came back normal. But he found, after visiting the home, he found that he was bleeding from the ears, went to the hospital, and found that all of his organs were shutting down. And now he's affected by the rest of his life from this. They don't know what caused it, whatever. All right, so for the skeptics out there, there is a photo leaked out somehow, that someone took of the home, where there's like a figure on the porch. Supposedly, it's been proven that it's not a real photo. It has been like, it's a fake photo. It's like, it's doctored. Like the figure's not legit. So, Zack also had checked for mold infestations, which the house did show lots of black mold. That kind of stuff can cause hallucinations and mass hysteria, but like it probably wasn't enough to do all that.
To every single person. Yeah.
Also, Zack, here's where I mention it, had the specialist come to the home, Dr. Barry Taft, who had a doctorate in psychology, a minor in biomedical engineering, and had conducted 4,500 investigations involving this kind of thing. Okay. So this is like right up his alley, and he wanted to see if there were high levels of man-made electromagnetic or earth-made geomagnetic activity, which could be causing the paranormal events.
Sure.
He found everything was generally normal readings throughout the home. However, throughout the basement, there were areas where it would spike randomly, especially near him and Zack. Like something was like feeding off of them.
Ew.
Yeah, it was really weird. Also, the black mass caught on the cameraman's camera was studied by an expert, and they could not debunk it. It was not someone's fingers, not something on the lens.
Right.
Other things that have happened in the house include changes in emotions, feeling ill or dazed, flickering lights, electronic malfunctions, voices, footsteps, feeling sick or ill, hearing a dog bark, growling, cold spots, the weird liquid dripping, figures in dark masses. And as of today, after the investigation, Zack had the home torn down and demolished and cleared, so no one would ever be affected by it again. He got messed up by it.
Yeah.
He did keep some things from it, though.
Sure, of course.
He's got a museum. He's got to display it. I would too if I went through all that trouble and I paid freaking $35K isn't a lot for a house, but still, like, you're just gonna go there and tear it down.
Yeah.
So he kept the basement stairs. He kept a big tub of dirt from underneath the stairs.
Okay.
And he kept the table altar that they had in the basement.
Okay.
And even with the house being gone, police are still finding people going to the property and doing satanic rituals.
Of course they are.
So, there's so much more in that series that I didn't mention, but I was hitting a lot of pages, so I was like, this is enough. I was
that was a
very
good
freaked
one.
out all week. It was a fun one.
Yeah, that was really good. I always realize that I stay a lot more quiet, like just
During the ones that like that,
yeah,
yeah.
because I can't.
There's no response to that. There's
Yeah.
no joking about this.
No, this is not funny.
That is on the Demon House, guys. It's on
Amazon.
yes, Amazon Prime. It's
Yeah.
free on there. But you can also watch it on like Vudu and stuff. It's everywhere, but it's free on Amazon. So that's
Okay.
where I watched it. It's like an hour and a half. It's really good. He does a really good job covering it. He even had someone who was threatening for him to shut down the documentary that he was doing because they were like a big time film director type thing. He didn't
Uh-huh.
say who, but he's like, you can't threaten me. He's like, I have you on film right now threatening me. You're not scaring me. And like, it was funny.
That's in the docuseries?
Yeah, because the family who lived there, Latoya Ammons,
Right.
they wouldn't talk to him. But he
Oh.
was wondering if it was they were signing on with a deal with someone, if that's partially why. So,
Oh.
because maybe they were signing on with someone else. So the brother would talk to them.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's a good story.
Yeah.
Very freaky, very
yeah, I
freaky
don't
movie.
Yeah, I don't like it. Let's lighten the mood a little bit. Do you want to hear a neighborhood story?
Yeah. Do we want to tell people where to listen to us? Oh, you guys know where to listen to us? Duh, you're listening to us right now.
Right now,
But you know, if you want to donate, you can
Yeah.
visit us on patreon.com/WWTN podcast, and you can join the donor bus and get like
Choo-choo.
exclusive content, videos of us messing up, burping and whatnot. It's super exciting. We also have something that you don't have to be completely committed to, but if you just want to buy us a coffee,
yeah.
you know, we are officially on, what is it? Buy me a
Buy
coffee.
me a coffee.
Buy me a coffee /WWTN podcast.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like throwing us a little donation.
Yeah.
It could be $1, it could be $2, it could be $100, you know. But, you know, it goes towards the podcast, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah. And follow us on all of our social medias. Like every social media platform is WWTN Podcast.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook group that we love interacting with our listeners in. That's What's with the Neighbors on Facebook. And, you know, send us your listener stories. We really want to do a listener episode. True crime or paranormal
Or neighborhood.
or neighborhood, aliens, anything. We want to hear about it. That's at wwtnpodcast@gmail.com. This is from next door, and it says, at what point does it become harassment? So we lived in our house for almost 3 years now. Our neighbor has called the cops on us for numerous stupid stuff, like our 15-year-old having a slumber party and screaming during a food fight, and computer radio being too loud in the center of our house, etc. Well, last night was a new one. My husband and I were deep cleaning the tile and grout in our sunroom last night, as we plan on setting it up for a nail salon, complete with a pedicure chair. Our neighbor called us in as cleaning up a homicide. We literally have had 3 cops sneak up on us, trying to catch us in the act.
What?
And is there anything that we can do at this point? Accusing us of murder. ...
What? They're just trying to set up their nail salon. Like, leave them be.
Yes, 911. My neighbors are cleaning up a homicide. How do you know it's a homicide? I just do.
I just do. It sounds like it's homicide.
It looks.
Did you
like
hear
it's a
people
homicide.
screaming? No.
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 No,
I
did
heard
not.
no noise at all, but they just
Why are
seemed
they
like the
cleaning their grout?
homicide type.
The only reason why you clean grout is if you're cleaning up a homicide.
Also, I thought you were going to die tonight, so I got scared.
What?
Sorry. That was random. Because I lost my signal, and I was like, she's been in there for a really long time at the place.
Yeah. Did you?
And I was like,
fix
this is
it?
really sketchy. Yeah, it was just a really bad place. And apparently when you have no signal, it says SOS. I've never had that happen to me. Yeah, and it freaked me out. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. So I locked my car doors. And I was like, oh my God, my car's stuck. I was like, this is the perfect This is the perfect
This is it.
time.
This is
This
it.
is what's gonna happen. I'm primed and ready to go for a serial killer to come get me. So like I tried to text Josh the address, and it wouldn't go through. And I was
Oh
like,
my
shit,
gosh.
I'm gonna die.
This is the start of a scary movie.
And then you popped out, and I'm like, hey, I wasn't gonna leave you. I would never leave you.
Thank you.
I would have gone there guns ablazing, but I didn't have any guns on me, so that would have sucked.
You have 2 guns always, right and left.
But the kid that came out, he's like, "Don't worry, we wouldn't have left her hanging." And I was like, he was
Hanging.
like what? Okay, okay, thanks. Have a nice night.
Oh,
They were cool, though.
man. I love that. That's
Super
cute.
cool.
Yeah, they were really nice. So bye. Have you checked in on the neighbors lately?
What's with the neighbors?
Bringing Amy out. Psh.
I have to pee
I do too.
so bad. I'm hungry.
I'm starving.
Freaking hungry, dude.
As you eat your gummy worms.
All I had today was some